See, if you're struggling in business right now, if you feel like you're failing while everyone else is winning, if you're questioning whether you have what it takes, this video is going to change everything, because what I'm about to tell you will either make you quit today or give you the fuel to push through to the other side. And honestly, both outcomes are exactly what you need. My name is Marcus, and in today we're going to be talking about the one thing that nobody tells you about in business, why it's actually designed to break you, and also why that's actually perfect, and how understanding this one simple truth will separate you from 95% of people who will quit within the next 12 months. So let's get into it. See, here's what they don't tell you in the motivational videos. Business is designed to destroy you, not physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It's designed to make you question everything you thought you knew about yourself. And here's the part that's going to sting. This isn't a bug in the system. It's meant to be like that. Most people think that business is about having a good idea, working hard, and getting rewards. And that's not business, that's a job with extra steps. Real business is about becoming someone capable of handling problems you've never seen before, with resources you don't have, under pressure that would break most people. The market doesn't care about your feelings, your customers don't care about your struggles, and your competitors don't care about your good intentions. The only thing that matters is results. This is why business feels impossible when you start, because you're not the person who can handle it yet. You're trying to solve million-dollar problems with a minimum wage mindset. Of course it feels overwhelming. Of course you feel inadequate, because you are inadequate. For now, at least anyway. But here's what changes everything. Every single person who's ever succeeded in business felt exactly the same way. The difference isn't that they were more talented or they had better circumstances. The difference is that they were willing to be inadequate long enough to become adequate. They were willing to feel stupid until they got smart. They were willing to fail until they learned how to win. You see, most people aren't willing to pay that price. They want the results without the transformation. But business doesn't work that way. Business is the journey. The money is the freedom, the impact. And those are just the byproducts of who you become in the process. Now, let me tell you something that might sound crazy. The struggle isn't something you need to get through to reach success. The struggle is the success. You see, every problem you face in business is actually a training program. Every setback is a curriculum. Every failure is a lesson you couldn't learn any other way. You see, what separates a successful entrepreneur from someone who's never built anything is not the intelligence. Plenty of smart people are broke, believe it or not. It's not connections, because plenty of well-connected people never create anything meaningful. I know a lot of people like that. It's their ability to handle uncertainty, to make decisions under pressure, to keep going when everything else looks hopeless. And where do you develop those abilities? It's in the struggle. Here's a principle that changed my life. You see, your problems will always be slightly bigger than your current capacity to handle them. Always. When you're making $10,000 a month, you have $15,000 problems. When you're making $100,000 a month, you have $150,000 problems. This isn't cruel, it's necessary, because the only way to grow your capacity is to be stretched beyond your comfort zone. You see, every time you push for a difficult period, you don't just solve that problem, you increase your capacity to handle future problems. You build confidence that you can figure things out. You develop resilience that carries over in every area of your life. This compounds over time. The person who's been through multiple business crises isn't just more experienced, they're fundamentally different. They've been transformed by the process. The difficulty isn't a bug. It's what creates the value. The struggle isn't an obstacle to success. It's the mechanism that creates successful people. Do you understand that? Let me share a concept that will completely change how you think about your current struggles. I call it the persistence game. So I actually heard Alex Hormozi talk about this, and here's how it goes. Imagine you're playing a game where you roll a dice, but you don't know how many sides your dice has. It could have 6 sides, it could have 600 sides, it could have 6,000 sides, right? Every time you roll, you're hoping to hit the winning number. Most rolls will be losses, and some people get lucky and they hit their winning number early. Others have to roll 100 times or thousands of times. But here's the key. You don't know which type of dice you have until you keep rolling. This is exactly how business works. Every action you take, every sales call, every product launch, every marketing campaign is a roll of the dice. Some people have it easier, right? Because maybe they have a better connection, better capital, more capital, or they're in a hot market, their winning number comes up sooner. Others have it harder. because, well, maybe they're in a competitive industry, they're bootstrapping it, or they're trying to do something completely new, and they have to roll the dice more and more times to win. But here's what changes everything. You can't tell the difference between someone who has an easy dice and somebody who has a hard dice just by looking at their current results. The person who's been rolling for 6 months and hasn't won yet, they might be one roll away from their breakthrough, or they might need to roll for 6 more years. The only way to really find out is to keep rolling. You see, most people quit right before their breakthrough. They see others getting results faster and assume that their dice must be broken. But what if they just have a dice with more sides? Does that make sense? What if their breakthrough is bigger when it comes through because they had to develop more skills, more resilience, more creativity to get that? You see, here's something counterintuitive. Having a harder dice might actually be an advantage in the long run. The person who wins quickly might not develop skills needed to handle bigger challenges. The person who has to struggle for their first win develops unshakable confidence, deep expertise, and the ability to handle massive challenges. The longer you stay in the game, the more advantages you accumulate. You build a network of relationships, you build deep expertise, you create systems and processes, you build reputation, and you accumulate resources. And most importantly, you develop the confidence that comes from knowing you can handle whatever comes next. Now, let me tell you exactly why 95% of people quit their entrepreneurial journey. And more importantly, how to make sure you're in the 5% who don't. So most people start business with completely unrealistic expectations. They think it should be easier, faster, more linear than it actually is. They expect to see results in months, when in reality, it's probably going to be years. They expect smooth growth, when in reality it's constant ups and downs. When reality doesn't match their expectations, they assume something is going wrong with their current business. But nothing's wrong. Their expectations were just unrealistic. We live in an instant gratification world right now, right? Where you can order food and have it delivered within 30 minutes. You can stream any movie ever made instantly. But business doesn't work on instant gratification timelines. Real results take time and compound. Most people aren't willing to delay gratification long enough to see the real results. Many people never really start because they're waiting for the perfect plan, the perfect product, or the perfect timing. But perfection is the enemy of progress. The market will teach you what you need to know, but only if you actually are in the market. Social media has created a culture of constant comparison. People who see others' success and assume they're falling behind. But everyone's timeline is different. Everyone's path is different. The only comparison that matters is between who you are today and who you were yesterday. Most people try to build businesses while surrounded by people who don't understand or support their vision. Your family wants you to be safe. Your friends want you to stay the same. This constant negativity can be crushing if you don't actively manage it. So how do you join the 5% who succeed? Set realistic expectations. Assume it will take twice as long and be twice as hard as you think. Build your financial runway. Have enough savings to survive for at least 12 to 18 months without income. Invest in learning, spend money on courses, books, mentors, coaches. The faster you develop skills, the faster you'll see results. Create a support system. Find other entrepreneurs who understand what you're going through. Focus on systems, not just results. Build processes that will work even when you're not working. Play the long game, in other words. Make decisions based on where you want to be in 5 to 10 years, not where you want to be next month, right? Remember, every day you don't quit is a day you're getting stronger, getting smarter, and more experience. The person who quits after 6 months gets nothing. The person who persists for 6 years gets everything. So here's a reframe that changes everything. You're not just building a business. You're building yourself into the type of person who can handle extraordinary success. Every struggle you're facing right now isn't evidence that you're failing. It's evidence that you're growing and learning. Every problem isn't a roadblock. It's a training exercise. Every moment you want to quit isn't weakness. It's the exact moment when you have the opportunity to separate yourself from everyone else who actually does quit. Think about the businesses that have lasted 50, 100, 200 years. They weren't built by people trying to get rich quick, right? They were built by people who were thinking about the next generation. In business, everything compounds: your skills, your relationships, your reputation, your systems, your knowledge, and so on. The entrepreneur who's been building for 10 years doesn't just have 10 times the experience of someone who's been building for 1 year. They have exponentially more because their learning has been compounding. When you shift to a long-term mindset, everything changes. You stop optimizing for short-term wins and you start optimizing for long-term sustainability. You stop asking, how can I make money quickly? And you start asking, how can I create value that compounds over decades? The entrepreneur who survives multiple market cycles develops an intuitive understanding of patterns. They know when to expand and when to contract. This wisdom is priceless and can only be gained through experience. Real wealth is the kind that lasts generations. It isn't created in months or years. It's created over decades through consistent value creation and smart reinvestment. When you think about legacy, you make different decisions. You invest in your people, you build sustainable practices, you create value that will outlast you. The irony is that when you focus on creating long-lasting value for others, you end up creating long-lasting value for yourself too. So here's where we are. You now understand why business is designed to be difficult, why that difficulty is actually your advantage, and how to use that knowledge to outlast 95% of your competition. You're at a choice point right now. You can use this information to justify quitting, or you can use it to fuel your persistence. Every struggle you're facing right now isn't evidence that you're failing. It's evidence that you're growing. Every challenge you overcome increases your capacity for bigger challenges. 5 years from now, you'll look back at this period as the time when everything changed. Not because the external circumstances got easier, but because you got stronger. So here's my challenge to you. Commit to staying in the game for 1 more year. Not because you're guaranteed to succeed in that time, but because you're guaranteed to grow. Commit to seeing every setback as a setup for a comeback. Commit to viewing every problem as a preparation for your next level. If this video gave you perspective shift that you probably needed, hit the like button, I really appreciate it. And let me know in the comments if you want me to create more videos like this where you can kind of start to shift your mindset, because ultimately that is the most important thing. What we believe here impacts our actions, and our actions impact our results, and that feeds back into here, and it's a never-ending cycle. So if you fix this here first, everything else falls into place.